What type of operation it is? It is a binary operation which allows the combined joint product and a selection is one single statement. The employee ID which is there in the project table must be same as the employee ID which is there in the employee table. F min salary means the employee who is getting the minimum salary, we have to retrieve those data. Hello everyone, welcome to one more session of the database management system. Myself Indu J, Faculty of Computer Science Department, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today we are going to continue the discussion on relational algebra. In the previous session we have already discussed what all the basic operations we have in the relational algebra. In today's session we will discuss what are the additional operations we have in the relational algebra. Let's see what all the additional operations we have and why do we use the additional operation. This additional operation enhances the expressive power of the relational algebra. Using this additional operations, we can express the query in very good manner. Whichever the key data we want, only those data we can fetch using the additional operation. Let's see what all the additional operation we are going to discuss. That is, one is aggregate function and recursive closure functions, and then the join functions. Inner join, outer join, there are different types of join function. We'll discuss that in today's session. Let's see what is join function. And join calculus is used to combine rows from two or more table based on related column between them. When we say the database is relational database that is related to one table to the another table. Based on the related column, we are going to fetch what? Rows from two or more table. Based on the related attributes, we are going to fetch the rows or the records, or we can call it as tuples from two or more tables, two or more relation. Join in the Dbms is a binary operation. What type of operation it is? It is a binary operation which allows the combined joint product and a selection is one single statement. It allows us to combine two tables and allows us to select the one attribute out of it. Okay, the goal of creating the join condition is to help you to combine the data from two or more database table. Why we are doing operation? Combining two table and fetching the data out of combined table. The table in the Dbms are associated using the primary key and then the foreign key. How the tables are related in database management system? Using the primary key and then the reference key or foreign key. From one table which is a primary key, for other table that is a referential key or the foreign key. So these are the different join operations what we are going to study. Inner join, left join, right join and full join. Let's see what is inner join. Inner join means we have two tables. We are joining the table and fetching the attributes of the tables internally. Okay, that is called as inner join. Here we have an employee table with 5 attributes and 6 rows. One more table we have, that is a project. Project table we have 3 attributes and then 4 rows. What happens when we do join operation on both the table? That is employee joining with the project. Obviously employee means employee is working on some project, right? So there is a relation between the employee and join. What happens when we go with the inner join? In the inner join, SQL inner join selects the records that have matching value in both the table. This is what table 1 is employee, table 2 is project. So in the project how many rows we had? Only 4 rows. In the table 1, that is employee table, we had 6 rows. Nothing is common, right? Inner join will take only the common element between employee and then the project. Let's see the syntax of inner join, how we can write the inner join function. Select is a Keyword we use to select the particular attribute or the column. So select a column 1 from table 1. Table 1 is what? Our table is employee table. From that, what I am selecting? Employee name we are selecting. And from the table 1, I am selecting employee ID. From which table? Table 1, which is inner joining with the table 2. Okay, which is inner joining with the table 2. On table 1 matching column is equal to table 2 matching column. Means it should be a key attribute here. Matching column is nothing but the key attribute, which is the primary key in the table 1, that would be the foreign key in the table 2. This is a complete syntax. This is a general syntax what we have. When it comes to the example, let's see the example. Here, select what we are selecting? Employee name. From where we are selecting? From the table employee. Then what we are selecting here? We are selecting the department. From where? From the project table. From which table we are using? Employee table inner join with the project table. On what condition? Project.employee ID should be equal to employee.employee ID. That means the employee ID which is there in the project table must be same as the employee ID which is there in the employee table. Okay, let's see the table. Here, which is my table? This is a employee table. This is a project table. So, this is a result of inner join. This is the output for the inner join. What we are doing? We are fetching the employee name from the employee table and department from the project table. So, how many departments are there? In the project table, we have only 4 departments: testing, development, designing and development. Only testing, development, designing and development. From where? Employee name. From testing, who is working with the employee ID 1? Who is the employee ID 1? Angelina. Right? That will be put it into the new relation. Next, in the development, who is working? Employee ID. Employee ID in the employee table, who is that? That is Robert. Is working for which department? Development department. Will be put it in the new relation. Then what we have is design with the employee ID 3, which is employee ID 3. Who is working on that? Employee name is Christian. Christian will be put it into the new table. Similarly, one more department we have is development, that is with the employee ID 4. Here we have to check the employee ID 4, and then who is working on employee ID 4? Christian. Christian will be placed into the new table. That is inner join. Only the things that is common in both the table. So this is the output of inner join. Next, what we have is left join. The SQL left join results all the values from the left table and the matching values from the right table. This is left table, this is right table. It will take all the values of left table and which is common also. Which is common also it will take. Common values. It will take all the left values and which is common in the table B. That is also it will be taken. Syntax for left join is select same syntax what we have used for the inner join. Select any column from the table 1. Select any column from the table 2. From table 1, what we are doing? We are doing left join with the table 2. This is table 2. Okay, left join with the table 2. And matching condition is what? One common column between table 1 and table 2 should be there. How we are connecting two tables? Using one common attribute, that is column name matching column name. Okay, let's see the example with the same employee and then the project table. Here what we are fetching? We are fetching employee name from the employee table. We are fetching the department from the project table, where we are doing the left join of the table 1 with the table 2. That is only the change what we have is, in the previous example we have it as an inner join, here we have it as a left join. So what is common? Employee ID is common as well in project table as well as in the employee table. So we are connecting both the table using the employee ID. So this would be the resultant of left join. So all the what we are fetching? Employee name and then the department. Here only we have 4 department. Here how many attributes we have? How many columns we have? That is 6 columns we have. It has to take the left table, the first table. So it will take all the values of left table. So all the values will be taken as an employee name. When it comes to the department, we have only 4 values in the department. So Angelina is working in testing, Robert is working in development, and Christian is working in design, and Kristen is working in development. So all this thing will be done using these 2, and which is common also. Here will give the value as null, which is not present in the table 2. Null means what? Null means empty, nothing. Null means nothing. It don't hold any value, not even a 0, not even a minus, or not even a single value. It hold nothing. So that is called as null value. This is the output for left join. It will take all the values of left join. Wherever there is no values in the right table, those values will be filled with the null value. Next what we have is right join. It's a same exact opposite of left join. Here this is a left, this is a right. It will take all the attributes of the right table with the common attributes. Okay, with the common attribute. The syntax is the same as that previous one. Instead of left join, what we are using? We are using right join here. What we are fetching? Employee name from the employee table, department from the project. How we are connected? They are connected with the employee ID on both the table. Example, here what we have is left table. This is my left table. This is my right table. All the values of the right table has to be displayed, and which is common, that has to be displayed. There is no common values both in both the table. So only the right table has been displayed here. This table will not be considered for the right join. Next, full join. Combining both the left table as well as a right table. Right, that is a full join. SQL full join is a result of combination of both left and right outer join table. Both left join and right join combining together forms the full join. Have all the records from both the table that pulls null on the places of matched not found. Wherever there is no matching, every places it will put null. The syntax, again only one change in the syntax. Instead of inner join, outer join, or left join and right join, we used to use full join. Full join, table 1, full joining with the table 2, and matching column we should have. Here what we are fetching? Employee name, and we are fetching department from the project. What we are using? Employee full joining with the project table. How they are connected? They are connected with the employee IDs on both the table. So this would be the resultant for that. Whatever we are having, the employee name, department, wherever there is no value, it will give the null value. Okay, next what we have is aggregate function and grouping. Aggregate function means taking the sum, summation, average. These are all the aggregate functions. So what all the aggregate function? A common function applied to the collection of numeric values included sum, average, max and min. These are all the aggregate function. These aggregate function can also be used in the database operations. The count function is used for counting the tuples or the values. Use of aggregate functions is optional. Aggregate function operations is on F. How do you represent the aggregate function operation? Using the F. F max. What does it means? We are using the max of salary. Employee who is getting maximum salary, we are supposed to retrieve his data value from the employee relation. And F min salary means the employee who is getting the minimum salary, we have to retrieve those data. Some total employees together, how much the salary they are fetching, that is a sum. And then count. Count is depends on SSN average salary employee, computes the count number of the employee and their average salary. How many employees are working, how many employees are getting 20,000 salary, or how many employees are getting 70,000 salary, that can all be done using the count function. Let's have aggregate function. SQL aggregate function is used to perform the calculation on the multiple rows of the single column of the table. It returns a single value. Combining all the things, it will return what? Only one value. It is also used to summarize the data. Why we are using the aggregate function? To summarize the data or to prepare the report on particular data, we use the aggregate function. So how many aggregate functions we have? We have 5 aggregate function: count, sum, average, min and max. Let's see one by one. Count function. Count function is used to count the number of rows in the database. How many number of rows or how many record we have stored, that will be calculated using the count function. It can work on both the numeric and non-numeric data types. It need not necessary that the data should be numeric only to have the count. It can also work for non-numeric data, that is it also work for characters, strings or something like that. The count function uses the count star, that returns the count of all the rows in the specified table. Count star means what? All. Whenever we are using star, it represents everything, including the null value. It represents everything. So, star means it specifies all the rows in the specified table. Consider the duplicate and null, including what? Duplicates and then the null. Star returns a total number of records. How many records are there? It will represent what? Count star. So here in the product, how many columns or how many rows we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 rows we have. So what count star will represent? Count star, the particular table name, that is product. It will give you the output as 10. Example, select count from the product must. What should be the output for this? Output will be 10. It will take all the records including the null value. The count with where. Select the count star from the product must where the rate is greater than or equal to 20. Let's see here in this the rate. What is the rate? Greater than or equal to 20. How many rows are greater than or equal to 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows are greater than or equal to 20. So what would be the output for that? So output for this particular query, count with where, this select count star from the product where it is greater than, the output should be 7. How many counts? 7 counts. The count with the distinct. Select the count distinct company from product name. Let's see how many companies we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 companies we have. We don't have any repeated value. So count will be given as 10. Here instead of 3, it is company 2. Let's consider it is company 2. What it is asking, the count function is asking, select the distinct company from the product. So here in the table you can see distinct 1, 2, again 2, it won't count the 2. Then this is 1, 2, again this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what would be the output here? The output of this query will be equal to 9. Okay. These are different conditions where we can use the count function. Next what we have is sum function. Sum function is used to calculate the sum of all selected columns. How many columns in particular column? Sum of all will be given as sum function. As how many subjects you will be having? Around 7 subjects you will be having. So sum of all the 7 subjects should be one proper value that is divided by your total number, that will give you an aggregate, right? So similarly, if you are calculating sum of all the subjects, that how it will be done, that is sum function. The syntax of sum function using the keyword sum or sum all or distinct, sum of all values or sum of distinct values. Same example what we have here is select sum cost. Where is my cost? Here is my cost attribute from the product. Then what should be the output? Output should be 670. Put in all together, it will be 670. Okay, this should be the output. And one more condition what we have is sum with where sum cost from the product where the quantity is more than 3. What we have to check? We have to take only the cost value. The quantity should be greater than 3. Which is greater than 3? 5 is greater than 3. 5 is greater than 3. 4 is greater than 3. Right. So, what is the cost? That is 150 plus 50 plus 120. How much will get? 5, 5, 10 plus 2, 12 and 3. That is what the output is. That is 320. Understood? Working on some condition, working without condition for all the columns in the particular column. Next, average function. How do we calculate the average? Average is equal to sum divided by total number, right? What is this? Average. Average is equal to sum divided by total number. Average functions returns the average of all non-null values. It will take what? Only non-null values. It don't consider the null values. So, example what we have is average of cost. What we had got in the previous example, what is the average? 670 sum, that is 670. Now, that is 670 plus how many rows we have? 10 rows we have. So, what should be the output? 67.00 should be the output. Average of cost from the product. Okay, that is for average function. Max function, find out of particular column, it will just fetch the maximum value what it is there in that particular column. This is function determines the largest value of all selected values from the column. Here you can see in the cost, which is a largest value, this is a largest value. So, that will be displayed. Example, select max of rate from the product. From rate, this is for cost. From rate, which is the largest value? 30 is the largest value. So, 30 is the largest value in the column rate, that will select. Because why we have mentioned it as rate? If I have mentioned it has max of cost. So, what should be the output? It should be 150 would be the output for this. So, here it is a 30. Then minimum, it will select the minimum value out of the table. It will select the minimum value out of the table. So, minimum value, what is the minimum value in the rate? That is what we have a minimum value in the rate, that is 10, right? 10 is a minimum value in the rate table. So, 10 will be the output here. So, this is all about the additional functions, additional operations what we have in the relational algebra. Thank you.